Welcome back to Kossi's Arsenal podcast. My name is Kossi. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in all parts of the world. Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to a brand new video. We're diving into Mikel Arteta's press conference. He's been speaking about a couple of issues around Arsenal, injuries, transfers, new contracts, and a couple of other things. Of course, Thomas Partey's form as well. So, I'm going to be diving into each and everything he spoke about in his press conference. Hit the like button. Let's get this one to 300 likes. Subscribe. Of course, any questions, any videos you want me to do. I've seen people say I should talk about Bellingham. I should talk about Declan Rice to Arsenal. I've not seen big stories like that around Arsenal. But of course, there is something special that I'll be unleashing tomorrow from Ian Wright. So make sure you subscribe. Turn on the notification bell as well. So Mikel has been speaking to the media ahead of our game against Bodo Glimt. Asked a couple of questions. Let's dive into it. First and foremost, he was asked about playing Bodo Glimt, and he said, "We've done our homework. Obviously, we have made the players aware of the team that we are going to face tomorrow, the history, and what they've done in the last few years. And we have Martin in the squad who knows them really, really well. He's done his homework in the dressing room to understand that tomorrow is going to be a tough game." Of course, on Kossi's Arsenal podcast, we've also done our homework. We've done that video on how to beat Bodo Glimt. Make sure you watch it. It is titled "Martinelli to Shine: How Arsenal Will Beat Bodo Glimt." I trust Mikel Arteta when it comes to preparing us for games. These days, I trust him. You look at every game we got into, we play in a different style. There is something different. There is something we are trying to adapt based on the team we are playing. Against Spurs, it was all about stopping them from counter-attacking. Against Manchester United, it was all about dominating them. Against Brentford, again, it was all about stopping Everton. So I trust him. I know we are going to go into this game very strong, and we will pick up 3 points. On rotating the squad, he said that's what we are trying to do to keep our momentum going. The best way to do that is how we prepare every single day. Keep focused on the task and on everything that we are doing, and keep being humble. There are a lot of things we still need to improve on, and keep that willingness every time to become a better side every single day, and to raise the competition between the members of the squad, because now everyone wants to play the game tomorrow. I mean, look, I got no problem with rotating the squad. I said this in my preview. If Arsenal want to pick up 3 points in this game, well and good, you can't go strong. But I don't think we will fail to pick up 3 points even when we rotate our squad. Looking at Liverpool coming over the weekend, we must rotate our squad. It is a no-brainer. It is a must. Arsenal must rotate their squad, in my opinion. So he says currently everyone wants to play the game. Tomorrow everyone wants to be available for selection. So many players are available for selection, but we will see what happens with that. On a new deal for William Saliba, Saka, and Martinelli, he says obviously we have plans for the future, and we are all working on it. Edu is on top of it, and all the board, and we'll try to do things in the right way, being fair and trying to plan the best way, and reward the players that in our opinion have a big future for the club. When we have something to announce, we will actually do that. Now, I think this is him here dropping a hint that Saliba, Martinelli, and Saka are about to sign new deals. Because if you rewind that, it says obviously we have a plan for the future, and we are working on it. Edu is on top of it, and all the board, and we'll try to do the right things in the right way. So it's been reported Saka's agreed a deal around 200k per week. It's also been reported that Saliba is very close. Chelsea are keeping tabs on Gabriel Martinelli. Arsenal thinking about extending that deal. And right here, Mikel says, we will try to do the right things. First and foremost, players that are deemed to have a big future for the club and a big future at the club will receive new deals. So there's nothing to be worried about. Look, I'm just happy for Arsenal, because in the past it has been more of Arsenal struggling to find a consensus between these young lads, Martinelli's, the Sakas, the likes of Cesc Fabregas, Alexander Sang-Belong. It's been hard for us, but these days I think Arsenal is really changed. We can convince any player to stay, and we can convince any player to join us as well. On ensuring players aren't left with 1 year, on their contract. It says, I don't know if those days are in the past. Every player is different, and what happened in the past is different. I'm sure the people that that were in charge had the right reasons or tried something that was beneficial for the club. We will try to do the same and make sure that the club is always protected, that the club is always in a good position to move forward, and that the players are happy to be here as well. Now, honestly, Saka's contract runs down in 2024. Martinelli's in 2024 and Saliba in 2024. We talked about this the last time we were talking about Bukayo Saka. And we said what Arsenal cannot afford to do is allowing these contracts to enter the last year, enter the final year. You're literally exposing yourself to competition that is unnecessary. It is unnecessary. It's an unnecessary move for us to do. If a player is going to stay, for example, Martinelli wants to stay at Arsenal for another 5 years, give him his contract right now. There is no need to wait for the last 12 months of a player's contract, trying to trigger his 12-month release, 12-month extension clause. All those things are not necessary. When a player impresses, if you see that the player is clearly in line with the values and the culture of the project, definitely sign him up. It's what we're trying to do with Saka. It's what we're trying to do with William Saliba. I'm going to say this. I think all the people that were running contracts for Arsenal were absolute stupid imbeciles that let the club that let the club down and cost us a lot of money. Aaron Ramsey worked for a free. Sant Cazorla, no money. Mesut Ozil, no money. All these players and their contracts were absolutely poorly handled. And I think this is what Arsenal are trying to avoid right about now. If we don't correct all these departments, we can never be a great side again. When have you heard Man United struggling to extend a player's contract when they are surely he's in line with their objectives? It doesn't happen. When does Manchester City struggle to extend a player's contract when he's surely in line with their objectives? It doesn't happen. So big clubs do things like big clubs, and we need to stop acting like a small club. I like the way Mikel Arteta doesn't want to throw all these Arsene Wenger's and David Danes under the bus, but that was a point of weakness, and they know that. That was a point of weakness. We are bringing in players, good talent, and we were letting them go for free. They were entering their last year in their contracts, and they were asking for huge amounts of money. You know why? Because when you're a free agent, you get a big sign-on fee and you get a big contract from a rival, company or a rival club. And the Arsenal don't want really to do that. Mikel Arteta on Bodo Glimt's levels compared to our last opponents this season, he said they're very, very high. And it's true. I've done that video of how they play, playing in a 4-3-3 and having all these, chance creation, the ability they have to keep the ball, the ability they have to take care of the ball, the ability to have to play a high press, and all that, they have a very high quality as compared to FC Zurich. I don't know how FC Zurich have become so shit, because they won the league in the Swiss league, last campaign, but this season they are totally off the mark. But with the Bodo Glimt, although they are 15 points behind Molde, I'm assuring you we're going to have a good game. And I know Mikel Arteta is going to prepare this one so that it's going to be some entertainment, right? When it's one-way traffic, it's kind of boring, in my opinion. I looked at that FC Zurich game and I was bored. I was really, really bored. You need a club to be fighting. You need to see a club that is trying to pick up a point, whether at the Emirates Stadium, whether away from home. You need to pick. You need to show some fight. You need to try to pick up some points, and that is what Bodo Glimt are all about. On how he prioritizes the Europa League, he says it's a competition that is really important for us. We know how important it is to be on top of that group, and we have a top competition. And the home advantage, so we have to use it as well. That's why tomorrow's game is really, really important to us. Now, I've said this. Why tomorrow's game is important? You can rotate. You can go on top of the table in the group, and you can also use the home advantage. And I just love the way Mikel looks at looks through my head and gives the same answers. Because look, you're playing Liverpool you want to make this game as easy as possible. You want to bury this game as quickly as you can, so that you have more time to reflect on Liverpool. You have more time to talk to the boys about what is coming ahead. Because what is coming on Sunday is not a tornado; it is actually an astronaut. Is it called astronaut? Oh, astronaut, something like that. So it is something very, very huge. And I think Arsenal know you're going into Liverpool. All your concentration must be on that game. So Bodo Glimt for me is like it's like that kind of hip in your way. You just have to jump over it and then proceed. Mikel Arteta on the Bodo players that he fears. He said there are a few really good ones, and it is a really, really good and it has a really, really good coach as well. And they have a clear identity with how they play. You can see straight away what they're trying to do. And again, I've been impressed with them. Yeah. I mean, we've talked about the good players they have, the likes of Pellegrino, very, very good player. The likes of Veso, the likes of their names are quite very, very hard. But in that video, how to beat Bodo Glimt, we've talked about their key players, and I mentioned up to 6. Their right back, their right winger, their left winger, their centre forward, and 2 of their central midfielders. And their philosophy is quite clear: keep the ball, create chances, and make it difficult for the opponent. So I think Mikel Arteta has already seen what they're all about. Mikel on Thomas Partey. Next point, is it Thomas Partey? Yeah, exactly. And it says he hasn't had the consistency over the past few months. Obviously, with the injuries he's been through, he's been in and out. And he did it. A big performance like that against Tottenham, he contributed to the team in an exceptional way, and we were really, really happy with his performance. Look, big credit to Mikel, big credit to Thomas Partey. I say this. Partey has not had the consistency. Partey has not had the quality this season. He has not displayed his quality like we know it. And many people attacked me, because how do you say that about Thomas Partey, this and that? But Mikel also says that giving you such a performance after an inconsistent run of games, it is special. It is very, very special. And also on Partey's injury right now, it says he's looking fine. He needs to play regularly again to find that kind of consistency, and also to find that kind of level that he wants to be performing on as well. Next, on whether it's problematic that Manchester City's physio will know about Martin Ødegaard's health. Okay. And it says no. I think it's really, really common that staff, whether it's physio, doctors, or fitness coaches, work for national teams as well. Nowadays, football is so connected. We all know each other. Someone has worked with someone somehow, so the information is always there available if you want to try and find it. So there is this kind of fear that the physio for Manchester City is, some members of the physio at Manchester City also part-time. Do they part-time? I don't know. As the physio for the Norwegian side, but for the Norwegian national team. But Mikel says it is absolutely fine. And also, in my opinion, I don't see any problem with that. Yeah. Apart from, information leaking and being used deliberately, like Ødegaard has a problem in his knee. So whenever you play, make sure you knock his knee. Unless it is something like that, unless it's something like that. But if it is not that, I don't feel Pep Guardiola would be a manager to tell his players, make sure you're stepping on Martin Ødegaard's legs, or left leg or right leg, because it is a weakness. I don't think Pep Guardiola is that kind of manager. Those managers would be Mourinho. Those managers would be, and I'm not saying Mourinho doesn't have integrity. No, I'm only saying that I think the managers that are capable of that, because Mourinho can tell you to get a red card. Mourinho can tell you to get a yellow card deliberately. He's that kind of guy. So Mikel says with information being shared at the moment, no problem about that. On whether players are getting used to playing on artificial grass would make any difference as a potential transfer target. Okay. On whether players used to playing on artificial grass would make any difference as potential transfer targets. Let's see. Because Mikael says, I don't know. You put it the other way around. The players that are used to playing on desktop pitches, which is what we use, and then have to play on artificial. It's a difference, and it takes a while to adapt. So I imagine, I don't know for sure, but the other way around is a bit similar. Look, there is a lot there's a lot involved in transfers of players. I didn't know that players use players adaptation to playing on grass or deso actually matters. I didn't know, but this question brings it to my attention. I don't know. I mean, I don't want to give an opinion on something I don't really understand, especially when it comes to transfers and grass and pitches. For me, as long as a guy is good, as long as a guy fits into what we want to do, sign him up. I don't care whether he's been playing on deso. I don't care whether he's been playing on artificial. I don't know whether he's been. I don't care whether he's been playing on a carpet or in the sand. As long as he's good, as long as he has the qualities we want, sign him up. On what Mikel Arteta has told, on what Martin Ødegaard has told Mikel Arteta, Mikel says, we spoke about it, about what I saw. I will do the same with the staff, and he was really, really clear. He said exactly the same opinion, and he said tomorrow will be a really, really tough game. So this is Martin Ødegaard regarding his research on the Bodo Glimt game, on the Bodo Glimt club, and what he's told him. I mean, I'm happy that our captain takes the initiative. Actually, for me, Ødegaard, if it is not for Fabio Vieira's injury that has been reported in the last few hours, Ødegaard should not even play in this game. Honestly, Ødegaard should not even appear anywhere in this game. For what? Rest him for Liverpool. But he's taken the initiative, done a couple of research around Bodo Glimt, understood how they play, and is given the information to Mikel Arteta. That is a very, very good gesture of teamwork, and just shows why many people feel he's a younger shoulders carrying an older head. Okay. On whether this is a big opportunity for Reiss Nelson in this upcoming game, it says after the spell that he had last year on loan, we wanted him back to see if there are any changes, and there is a prospect that we can really, really take to the next level. We think the potential is there, and we think we've seen something in Reiss that is special. He's been a part of our academy system. He's now going to have his opportunity. He's been out for almost 3 months with an injury. He's back now, he's fully fit, and he's ready to play. He just needs minutes now. I'm one person who has said this about Reiss Nelson. Let him work on his end product, and then we will see whether he can compete with Martinelli and Saka. I don't feel the likes of Smith Rowe, Saka, and Martinelli are miles edges ahead. Currently, he's nowhere near them. After that 3-month injury, nowhere near them. In terms of fitness, in terms of morale, in terms of attitude, in terms of confidence, in terms of, believing match day confidence and all that, he's nowhere near them. But if he can work on his final ball, if he can work on his end product, Reiss Nelson, there is a player in there. I'm telling you this, guys. There is a player in there, and I just know it. Okay. Let's talk about Smith Rowe now. On whether he can follow a similar path to Smith Rowe, who has suffered with injuries. Mikel says that's what he needs to do, and now he needs to show that on the pitch. His attitude and the way he's matured and evolved over the past year or so has been really, really impressive. I think everybody is talking about it, and now he needs to do it on the pitch as well. So let's wait and see. Look, for me, apart from being injury prone, injuries are not something that scare me about players, because players always pick up injuries. But as long as you can bounce back, as long as you can hold your head high and say, this is what I'm capable of, as long as I'm fit, this is what I provide to the team, you'll always be fine. On if Martin Ødegaard's leadership role, on Martin Ødegaard's leadership role in the team, he says, I think that when he talks, everybody listens to him, which is really, really an important quality. It is true that he's not the loudest probably, but he's someone that leads with example every single day and is always doing the right things. He's really humble. He's trying to help everybody. He puts the team in front of him, and he has a huge love and passion for this game, which I really like, and he wants to improve. He wants to drive these boys up as quick and as fast as possible, and we believe that he's the right person to represent the club's values that we have at the club at the moment. We've already had the debate about Martin Ødegaard. Is he worth it? Is he not worth it? So I won't actually go back, on that, on whether the Europa League is a help or a hindrance for us. It says it is a help. Playing in Europe is always great, and tomorrow I think we're going to have a great atmosphere again at the Emirates Stadium. We want to produce those nights, and we know that we want to be playing yesterday and today. But at the moment, it's our reality, and we have to accept it. It's part of our next step. Look, playing in Europe is help. Playing in Europe is something very good. Look, these games in Europe just test you more. Playing in Europe just allows you to sign big players. Playing in Europe just allows you to, get tested outside the Premier League. Playing in Europe comes with so many advantages. Currently, it could be a hindrance because people are looking at Arsenal as title contenders. But for me, it is a very, very good stage. You get that kind of experience from other clubs. You get that kind of experience from other players, and it just allows you to become better as a side. And of course, I talked about the consistency that comes with beating Bodo, comes with beating FC Zurich, comes with beating all these small clubs in Europe. And lastly, on playing 3 games in 1 week, it says it's a test for our squad in terms of the numbers and the quality that we have when you make the changes and how much you notice that. At the same time, it's about how you are able to consistently play at the highest level and demand that of yourself and be successful while you are doing it. Squad depth, we don't have it. We don't need to lie. We don't need to lie about it. Squad depth is not something Arsenal have. Work on this in January. Work on this in the next summer, and we will be a very great side. Lastly but not least, Fabio Vieira looks like he's picked up an injury, so we might not see him tomorrow. So in my predicted lineup tomorrow in the morning, if there is no Fabio Vieira, then you will understand he's picked up an injury. But for now, I'll be back with a transfer update. Saka has agreed a deal. Marcus Rashford is on our radar. 1 year left. Martinelli to Chelsea. And of course, Christopher Nkunku. I'm lying. Some of you told me to talk about Christopher Nkunku. Now, I will react to Christopher Nkunku, but he's going to Chelsea. He's not signing for Arsenal. But all that and more in the upcoming video. See you soon.